Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Tupper. Busy day out on the farm. It is harvest day. Our corn's coming out. Very exciting for me, who's a farmer groupie, to be honest with you. And I don't know what we'll bump into back here. I got to be a little bit careful because I know they've got grain trucks back here, and I don't want to be in the way. That's for sure. They got business to do, and so I just want to stay out of their way. But hey, they showed up on the day we do one of these, so we will see. Anyhow, I was over in Champaign yesterday. Boy, it was weird. Isn't it weird when you have a weekend with no game? It really is to me. And you're scrambling for things to watch, and I watched the Cubs Cardinals. I watched those two teams, and I watched Purdue and Michigan, and learned that Purdue can compete with Michigan. I thought Michigan got better when their quarterback got hurt. Don't mean to take his injury lightly, but I thought O'Korn did a good job. And I watched Nebraska and Rutgers, and Nebraska's got some issues on offense. They got a quarterback that would make you stay awake at night if you were the head coach or the offensive coordinator, because he's mistake prone and he just does some things that are head scratchers. But they've also got some pretty good skilled people, and they've got a really good defense. I was impressed with their defense, and I have been impressed with it. Remember when they lost to Northern Illinois, Northern Illinois got 2 touchdowns on pick sixes, so that was not on the defense. So that's going to be an interesting game Friday night. We spent some time yesterday in Champaign talking to Lovey, talking to offensive coordinator Garrett McGee, and talking to defensive coordinator Hardy Nickerson. And obviously the hot topic of the weekend was the protests at the NFL games. And I don't know I don't know if they were protesting. I think everybody's protesting something different. I think some of them are protesting on the platform that Colin Kaepernick designated back when that began, and I think some of them are just protesting Trump attacking their game. I can guarantee you, I saw owners out there, and I didn't see any of them wearing Kaepernick shirts, and as far as I know, Kaepernick's still out of work, so they were not rushing to his aid. But Lovey was pretty outspoken about it. He's bothered by the language, the rhetoric that came from the president. So was Hardy Nickerson. Hardy was very thoughtful in what he said, and he was carefully choosing his words, and he just said, you could see him kind of throw up his arms and say, look, I just don't get it that when the president has much harsher language for a peaceful protest than he does for the guy in Charlottesville that drove down the road and into a crowd and killed a person. And he said that really, really bothers him. And so, they don't have an opportunity to do anything this weekend in terms of a typical national anthem protest or show of unity or whatever, because the home team decides whether or not to come out for the national anthem, and Illinois for a long time has not come out for the national anthem. Lovey had told me at one time, and this was before any of this stuff started, that he didn't like the idea of getting out there and then having to stand around and losing all that juice. He rather would come out of the tunnel with that juice, go straight to the game, and let's go. And a lot of teams do it that way. Next week, however, when they go to Iowa stands for the national anthem, and Illinois will do the same with the Hawkeyes. So if that interests you, who's doing what, we'll see. I know Lovey well enough to know that he would be supportive of a tasteful protest. I don't think you're going to see Lovey do anything crazy. And he's talked to his team about, understand what you're doing, understand what the issues are, be educated about them, understand that your actions have consequences, be prepared to defend them, and if you're going to do anything unusual, I'd like to know about it, because he said, I do not like surprises. So that's kind of where they are on that. It's obviously something they've talked about. I think all these teams have spent a lot of time talking about it. And But the other news is that Chase Crouch apparently is going to be the starting quarterback. Jeff George in the backup role again. Lovey said we're not changing anything there, but they do get a bunch of guys back that have been out, and some significant players return. The largest of which is James Crawford, who prior to the season projected as one of their 3 best defensive players, a senior, experienced, pass rushing D-end, suspended for the first 3 games for reasons that haven't been explained to us. We all have our ideas, but regardless, he's back. That means that players like Bobby Roundtree and Isaiah Gay, who have done a good job, will be playing a little less and should be playing a little fresher later in the game. Also now, a new suspension is Tito, and Tito, how's he pronounce his name, kids? Tito with the O, Tito Odabingo. That's not good. I apologize, Tito. But Lovey sounded like he would be back at some point, and that weakens them in the middle. But they still have Tymer Oliver, they still have Jamal Milan, they still have Kenyon Jackson, Jamal Woods. They've got players in there they can plug in, and then also back is Doug Kramer, their center on the offensive line, who got hurt in the opening game of the season. He's back, as is Vidarian Lowe, the freshman who looks physically a lot like Larry Boyd, 6'5", 340. They're anxious to see what he can do, and then we will find out, because he's been practicing, do they view him in the top 5, in which case he'll be starting? Do they view him in the top 6, in which case he'll be coming in right away? Top 7, where is he? Who's he bumping out? All of that will be interesting, but certainly Coach Butkus has more options now, and so all of that. Let's see who else. I wrote down some names in case I forget anybody. Oh yeah, Reggie Corbin is back, and Reggie Corbin, you remember, running back from last year. Sort of a backup guy, but a significant backup guy. Ran for over 500 yards, has some wiggle and some big play potential to help share that load with Mike Epstein and with Kendrick Foster and Rayvon Bonner. So they get more people. They'll have more depth, more bodies available. I think it's going to be important for them to generate something in a passing attack, and I think it's, in order to win the game, I think they're going to have to turn the ball over. I think Nebraska looks like they enjoy doing it, turning it over. Illinois wants to take it away 3+ times a game. They want to score with it. Each of the last 2 games, I mean, the last 2 games, there's been 3 pick sixes against Nebraska. So, Illinois is going to be watching for that. It just looks to me like Tanner Lee, their quarterback, if he is hurried, if he is pressured, he makes faulty decisions. I remember one pass where he was rushed backwards, and he was retreating and tried to throw it about 35 yards down the field off his back foot, and that's a really hard pass to throw. Not very many people can do it. He couldn't, picked off. So, watch for those things. And, this is the last of their Friday night games, and they love playing on Friday. They love playing at night. And I'm not saying they love playing Friday night. They love playing under the lights Friday or Saturday at home, particularly. They get a big kick out of that. And so they will get an opportunity to do that. And, this is the Hall of Fame weekend. So, they had that great ceremony up at the museum in Chicago over the summer. Everybody says maybe the most spectacular event Illinois has ever staged. And they're going to have an event Saturday afternoon, open to the public, free of charge, 2 o'clock, State Farm Center. Most of the living Hall of Fame inductees will be there. Dick Butkus will be there. The ones that they were a little uncertain about, well, they know for a fact Craig Tiley will not be there. He just can't get back from Australia this time. He was at the one in Chicago. They're not certain on Nick Anderson. D. Brown will be there. I think you're going to see for sure Jerry Colangelo there, Manny Jackson. So that'll be pretty cool. An opportunity for Central Illinois people to get a taste of these guys and stand up and salute them as they're inducted into this first Hall of Fame class. So anyhow, it should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think as they get older, for instance, someone like Dick Butkus, you'd better appreciate the opportunities you have to visit with him. And if there's something you always wanted to ask him, I wouldn't wait. I'd do it now. And that's not to suggest Dick's in poor health. As far as I know, he's not. But, you know, he's in his mid-70s, and just don't take anything for granted, and be grateful to have him around. I still think that outside Memorial Stadium that there should be 3 statues, and there should be Grange, and there should be Butkus, and there should be Hallis. And I realize Hallis, his contribution to the University of Illinois may not be as great, but he's an Illinois guy. And tell me 3 names that say football more loud and clear than Grange, Butkus, and Hallis. That is something to celebrate and be proud of. And I would love to see the McCaskey family help fund those 2. The Grange statue, of course, is already up, but that would be quite something to bring recruits, visitors, alums, anyone out there by Grange Grove and see these icons of American football. Would be pretty cool. So looking forward to it. I'm going to head over this afternoon to basketball. I'm hoping to visit with Kipper Nichols. You know, I'm kind of running out. I got to do my turnaround in the waterway here. A couple of people have told me they got a big kick out of that. I don't know why. You get a big kick if I get stuck, but so far so good. But you know, of the people, the freshmen are not available to us right now. Maybe they will once practice begins, and practice begins on Saturday, and then LaRon Black, who I haven't done yet, is not available right now because he's hurt, recovering from his surgery, and they usually keep those guys off limits while they're not active. So I've done Tijon, and I've done Mark Allstork, and I've done Finke, and so I've got Kipper, and I like Kipper, and I'll talk to him, and I want to hear what Kipper's role is. And with all these guys, I'm trying to ask him to explain the mysterious Underwood system, and you get varying answers on it. I think they're still learning about it too, and you know, that practice hasn't even begun yet. So anyhow, hope to visit with Kipper Nichols and have something for you, which I will post on Twitter as soon as I have something available there. And then, of course, the football game Friday night, and we'll write some kind of a follow on Saturday for the Sunday Herald and Review, and we'll get all that stuff posted as well. And then one other thing, Joey Wagner, who's been doing the podcast with me, Joey went to a basketball clinic at Mount Zion High School this weekend, where they had a really interesting group of speakers. Jeff Alexander, Brad's assistant at Illinois, was there. Jay Spoonhour from Eastern was there, and so was Stephen Bardo. And I called over there and asked Stephen if he would accommodate Joey with a little bit of time. And Joey sounded really excited about the stuff he got from Bardo. And I haven't heard it and haven't talked to Joey what he got exactly, but I anticipate Bardo talking about Brad Underwood and what this change is going to mean to Illini basketball, and some of the other things that are going on in college hoops. Stephen's always an interesting guy, so watch for that. We post that on Friday mornings on the Herald and Review website. So back here in the beans, they haven't touched the beans. Our beans have got a little ways to go, and but it was cool watching the corn come out. And I appreciate you riding along, and you know, we haven't even come close to wrecking this thing. and haven't only saw deer the very first time. I don't know, man. Got to get it spruced up a little bit. Okay, thank you very much. Off to Champaign shortly to talk to Kipper Nichols. Appreciate your time, and talk to you very soon. Thanks.